keep an eye on questions too.
Hi guys.
Mhm.
You're loading now, and we're good to go. Welcome.
Sorry.
We almost cancelled today's webinar because my beard didn't grow back enough in time. And I know how much you guys look forward to looking at my beard up close. But don't worry, I'm on it. It should be back in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, look forward to that. Cool. I'll just quickly run through the points that we will cover in today's webinar. Two interesting points. One is the new artwork page that's live now. I'll just quickly walk you through different points. Some are new, some are better that are there now. So you can have a look at that. I'm sure most of you have already had a look at it. So that's good. It'll make more sense. The other thing, we'll also quickly talk about a couple of more projects that are almost finished, and you guys should be looking forward to that as well. And then we will talk about a couple of podcasts that we've been listening, different ones. Sarah's been listening to one, and I've been listening to one, and we found that really helpful in completely different ways. So we'll just talk about that as well, and I've put the links in the webinar description so you guys can actually have a look. And if it's useful, it's good. I found it useful, so we'll share that with you. Cool. All right, we'll get started. So with the new My Artwork page, this is the page where you manage all your artworks, upload new ones, edit, delete, mark them as draft. So we've changed that a bit because the technology behind that was ancient. Took quite a lot of time for this to come together. This product that's been released, it's still in beta mode. So basically what that means is we've done a bunch of testing for functionality from our side, but we've released it for you guys so you guys can have a run with it and see, and we'll wait for feedback. Things that are working, features that are not working, if there are any technical issues, and then we'll take that on board again, and then we'll release another update. Because it's a huge project, because it involves such detailed interaction from so many different people, we've decided to go for it in two different steps rather. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. Let me close all the other tabs before I do that. Questionable tabs. And I'll quickly show you what that looks like. Cool. My artwork. And I shall share my screen. Do let me know if you can actually see my screen now, because in the past we've had
That's fun.
that issue.
Okay. If someone could let us know if it's working, that would be great. Just in the chat.
Yeah, we'll just hang on for 1 second. Oof, I think, yeah, it's working now. Cool. So you can see all my tabs and everything that's open, which is good. So if you simply go to My Artwork the way you used to, you should be able to see this new layout.
Yeah.
The main reason behind doing this is we've eliminated pagination. And by pagination, it means there are no page numbers at the bottom. So basically that means is it's easier for you to arrange, delete, manage them all in one page. It's especially helpful with reordering your artworks. In the past, the reorder was a little bit complicated, where it took you to different pages, arranged it, and it didn't work on for certain profiles, given the number of artworks that were involved. Now what we've done is it's already here. So if you want to rearrange something on your display, you can simply drag and drop from here. So if I want to move this test to delete artwork of mine, which is surprisingly,
Got a lot of likes.
yeah, surprisingly popular. It has 207 favorites. I don't know who's like that, which is amazing. But anyway, so when I do that, it simply updates the position of that artwork. So you can do that. So in the back end, you can sort by recently uploaded, which is the last one that you uploaded is at the top. And then you can also sort by display order, which is the same display order that you see on your main profile. So you can see what your artworks look like in your dashboard as well.
And remember that this is so best match, that's the order that you choose to have your works in.
Yeah. So best match is the way you have reordered your artworks. That's what best match means. So reordering is definitely one thing which makes it really easy. The other thing is just managing your individual artworks. Or to begin with, it's quite simply been grouped into available artworks, sold artworks, unavailable artworks, and drafts. So I think the only question here would be about unavailable artwork. So that means when you mark an artwork as unavailable for a short period of time, that's when it will show up there. Sold artworks is the artworks which are marked as sold. Drafts are the ones which are not published. Now, for individual artworks, you should now be able to do a bunch of things without even going into the artwork, which is really handy and saves a lot of time. So if you click on more actions, you should be able to see create a similar listing, which is duplicating an existing listing to create a new one. Basically, if you have two artworks, if you're uploading a new artwork and pretty much all the information of sizing and description and everything is the same as the already uploaded one, you can simply change the name and upload new photos and do that. So you can do that from here. Place sales on hold, which means you can mark an artwork as unavailable temporarily directly from here. So if I want to place this slice of life new upload on hold, I can click on that and say, make it unavailable for 7 days. I'm not available for pickups, and save it. So what that does is it says now that it's on hold for 7 days. It also shows up in unavailable. And if you go to this artwork page, you should be able to see that it's inquire now. So that's really handy. So like that's done within this profile, within this page itself, so you don't have to go in. Other few things that you can do is click on an available one, is mark it as sold. Again, you don't have to go in now to do mark it as sold or delete. So you can do both of those things from here. So say, for example, if I want to mark it sold, you can just say that I sold it via my own website, and then you can confirm it to be sold. And then this will be marked sold. It will appear in this as well. It will go away from available artworks. And the last one is delete. So I'm going to delete one of mine, and it just asks you why. So you can say I've sold this artwork, or I'm updating my listings, or something, whatever. You can say other. I don't like it. And confirm delete. And this will be removed from your artwork. So this has become really handy. So hopefully this will give you a little bit more time, as it takes less time to manage the profile itself. Plus you can view, share, edit, all that from here. Reordering, again, you can either drag, drop, or you can just simply click on these buttons and it will move it one by one. So it's quite handy. Give this a thorough go though. Play around, change things, see if something doesn't work. And after the webinar, we'll provide a form or a place for you to fill in the feedback so we can actually know what's working and what's not for you guys.
Don't forget holiday mode.
Oh,
holidays.
Holiday mode is probably the most exciting thing, I think. So with one click, you can mark all your artworks on hold. This is for, when you're away, you can't access your profile. You don't have to do that individually. You can just click on that. Everything is on hold. and you can not worry about it. Everything will be marked as inquire now. And when you have to put it off, you can just do that again, and it will put all the ones which were available before to available, and all the ones which were on hold individually will still be on hold, as you can see here. And if you want to make them available, you can just click here and it will make them available. So this is a bit time conserving now, which is really handy. Cool. So this is the way this works now. It also syncs up your views and your favorites directly from the artwork itself. And this is live. There's been the way we are showing this. So when you sort of refresh this, or when you first load it, you will see that your page loads first, and then individually all the numbers load separately. What that does is it checks pretty much live or dynamically for these numbers, and it should match all the numbers that you see here. So that's not the one. Let me open my most popular artwork, which is called Test to Delete, which is a beautiful back of the canvas, which is not ready to hang, and it's marked incorrectly. But it has been favorited 207 times, including my own, and you can see that that's the same number, and the views as well. So that is pretty handy for you to see individual artworks and their views and favorites. Just quickly, I will also touch base on the dashboard. There are a few things that are still being updated on this, but I have noticed a few of you don't know or have sort of lost track of where your sold artworks were, which is your orders. So the artworks that you've sold on Bluethumb, their status on when they were paid and picked up. So that has moved here. So if you click on this, it will show you all your artworks which you've sold through Bluethumb and when they were picked up, when they were delivered. I obviously haven't sold anything. So here it will show you when they were picked up, when they were delivered, when the payment was made, or it's due, or the amount, and all those details. So this page hasn't changed. It's just the location where it was located has changed a little bit. So I hope that clears that up. So from here as well, you can go to my art. Cool. I'm just going to quickly look at my points. Or actually, you have that open.
Yes, I do.
Cool. Cool. I'm just quickly looking at the points that I noted down. Oh yeah, one other thing that I wanted to show you is your number of artwork views. They do not include your own views. So say, for example, I'm looking at this artwork of myself, just called Slice of Life. I'll just go to my dashboard as well so we can see. So right now I'll see that in the last week, I've had 5 artwork views, which are all today. 5 artwork views. So if I view my own, so if I'm refreshing this, which should count as a new view if we are calculating it, and if I go back to dashboard, it should not count that as a view. So this wouldn't increase. Although if I see this in incognito mode, which means I'm logged out and browsing anonymously, I have not signed into my Bluethumb account, and if I view that artwork, then this number of views should increase. What that means is, so we do not count the views that you are looking at your own artworks while you're signed in. If you sign out and then you look at your own artworks, those views will be counted. Same goes for profile views as well. So that's a handy distinction to know. Cool.
There were just 3 questions if you want to quickly run through them.
Yeah.
So one was from Kathy Best. Can you mark the artwork as a draft?
That feature is to be released quite soon, actually, because we've already put that request in. Let me just quickly check, because that actually links to what I was going to say next, which is the new artworks, so the new features. No, not yet. Very soon you will be able to, Kathy. because I'll just talk about it in very shortly in what's coming next. So a couple of new features that are pretty much done and should be ready for release in the next couple of weeks. That will cover that.
Okay. And then Kylie Fogarty, pretty much the same question, hoping that a preview before publishing is coming soon.
A preview before publishing, we haven't thought of it from a preview point of view. So when you do publish an artwork, you can view it immediately and change or edit if you'd like to. And you, if you're worried about people getting notifications for your when you upload new artworks, that happens the next morning. So it gives you enough time to change. So we haven't actually looked at the preview feature as is, but that sort of covers that automatically.
There's just one more question related to the artwork, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Jen Turing said, can we put artworks on hold indefinitely?
You can. So through holiday mode, you can do that. And if you want to mark, when you place sales on hold, you can put it, the max numbers, you can put it for 90 days, and then you will have to do that again.
Yeah.
One of the artists, the local artist, she's come in. Do you want to go say that?
Yeah, I will. Yeah. That's all the questions for.
Okay, cool. I'll look at the questions anyway. I'll stop sharing my screen, guys, and so I can talk about something else. And you should be able to see me again. Sorry about that. So I just has gone out because one of the Melbourne artists, Lee Zhu, she's come in to collect some boxes. Cool. What I wanted to talk about, let me know if you guys can see me now. Should be able to. Cool. Cool. So what I wanted to say next was the next couple of things that are coming up are quite interesting as well, which are your artwork upload page itself. So when you are uploading a new artwork, the way that works, that flow is changing a little bit. I'll just give you a quick few points on what is changing. So we are giving the options to upload more artwork images. So you can upload up to, I think, 6 or 7 images. Also, it gives you a bit more detail on what kind of artworks, what kind of images you need to upload. So we have sort of defined different images for different angles of an artwork, which will sort of direct you on putting the right kind of images. This has come out of our own learnings of the way collectors ask questions, and the most commonly asked questions are either more photos, can I see the side of the painting, is it ready to hang, simply is alleviated by having more art images uploaded, so that should cut down a lot of back and forth with them. When that is released, the save as draft option will be released along that with as well. And the next project that should be coming soon as well is related to payment systems. This is more for the collectors, but I think we'll give you guys a bit more detail on it when it's close to completion. Essentially, we are coming out with our own lay-by system, which is really handy because it's artist focused, doesn't involve any commissions, doesn't involve any discounts, doesn't involve any of those things. It's a way that we are already testing, and it's working pretty nicely, and we'll sort of release that soon, and we'll give you more detail info on how that works and how we're going to go about it pretty soon. The other thing is we are linking up with Afterpay after a long battle, and we're also linking up with Zip, which is also like Afterpay. So they both have pretty good followings, and a lot of people already use it. So that will expand the reach a little bit and sort of bring a lot of artworks into people's budget that they can't actually afford now.
And means that we'll be spending a lot more money on artworks. Mainly me.
Yeah, mainly so.
I do buy way too much art. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so those are the few things. We'll just quickly look at your comments and if there are any questions. And then we want to talk about the podcasts, which is quite interesting actually and a bit scary. Just going to quickly look at your questions. Okay. I haven't looked at my last artwork itself 50 times. Why would I? Over 60 views have totally disappeared as this now says 14.
Can I just address that at the end?
Yeah.
We'll just address views and everything at the end for everyone. So please just leave it to the end.
Yeah. So with the profile numbers, we'll just quickly address that
Not screen
at the end. Yeah, no, I know. It's okay. We'll address that at the end. I'm just quickly checking one thing.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't have happened. Cool. The artwork views, again, we can address that in a later stage because I know, Jillian, you have a bit of information around that, so it will take a bit of time to address that live. So it might be easier to just address that either at the end of this or offline. Kat, you should not see that now. What you were saying, I'll fix that now.
Just refresh your page.
Yeah, just refresh your page and it should go away.
I think that's about it for questions.
Can we put individual artworks on hold indefinitely? Jen, yeah, right now you can do that for 90 days, but not indefinitely. You'll have to do that again after 90 days. Cool. This is across all my work.
Yeah. Lisa said, what about a virtual on my wall option? Look, our technology is going in a different way. This is a possibility that we might introduce that soon, but we haven't even started talking about it as far as I know.
Yeah. Do you mean view on wall on your computer itself, or do you mean like a virtual reality, augmented reality sort of thing? If it's the augmented reality thing, we've looked at it about more than a year ago through the app and through the website. And the consensus was that it looks flashy, it's great to look at for us, people who work in the gallery, and for artists who are trying to sell, but we couldn't see a huge impact on decision making. So we have we did look into it, but it didn't go ahead. In terms of view on wall directly, the way we are changing the upload page, more images, there is an option for you to do that, but you won't be able, like, we are not providing a software where you can put things on the wall. You'll have to do that on your end. It's primarily because it's impossible to create a software or create a way for us to let you guys do it automatically and for it to be proportional and make it look realistic. There's just too many variables in terms of artwork size, thickness, framing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it might also be worth mentioning that Shiraz and I are very Photoshop handy. And for some clients, if they ask us to virtually hang a painting on their wall, we do that to scale. It is obvious it takes a little bit longer, but our turnaround's normally like an hour or two for people that want that to happen, and it's not actually that many people at all.
No.
So
we so a couple of ways that we do that on demand is okay. Lisa was asking about virtual reality, so we're going on a tangent. But anyway, we do that in a couple of different situations. When we send out abandoned cart emails, which means that someone added something to cart, but they haven't finished the purchase, we send them out an email saying, hey, this thing is still waiting for you, blah, blah, blah. And one of the options that we provide them is you can see what it looks like on your wall. Just send us a photo of your own wall, and we can actually put this artwork on there for you, which is sometimes people do get back and say, hey, here's a photo, can you put that up? And then we do that, and that almost like 90% times it converts. So that's something that we do on a day-to-day basis. But virtual reality, that is not in the pipeline. And I'm not sure if we're going to go in that direction.
That way, yeah. Lawrence said, do you know if you're allowed to sell prints? I'm not too sure. I thought Bluethumb was just for originals, so I'd love to know. So, Lawrence, you can sell prints. You have to make sure that they are prints from an original work. So, if you've scanned a painting or, a painting or an artwork, sorry. And then you can print them. And there's a couple conditions, like it has to be a limited edition. And I think our maximum is $250. It's a really easy process that you can just do, upload and have a little experiment in the artwork upload. But how it works is that if you sell a print on Bluethumb, it automatically clicks over to the next one. So it saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, just reach out on the chat and we can actually send you more information that you can read about it. It's much easier that way.
But I can help you with that.
Yeah. Jeff is just saying about use the app on Apple called Art Rooms. It will place the art to scale and also frame it. Yeah, Jeff, there are a few platforms that do it. Some of them have recently started doing it. Some of them have been doing it for a couple of years. We looked into it as soon as Apple, I think iOS 11 or 10 was released, which actually supported the augmented reality thing because we have an iOS app. But after research, like I said, we didn't see potential returns, so we didn't go that way. Cool.
Yeah, Tracy, also just email in and I'll answer that for you.
Yeah, all the day-to-day stuff. If you guys jump on chat, it's much easier for us to send you written information rather than telling you verbally.
Yeah.
Cool.
So podcasts?
Yeah. Do you want to start with yours? And then because mine is a bit more grim.
So the podcast that I've been listening to is called The Starving Artist. And it's basically a Melbourne artist going through interviews with other artists in different streams, so musicians and visual art and theatre producers, that sort of thing. So I've listened to most of them. I think I've just missed out on, got one to go. But I think she kind of talks about finance and art and bringing those two things together and how they sometimes don't mesh very well. But it's a really great podcast. And I think if you're just painting, it would be a really good thing to listen to. The two that really stood out for me, and I think because they're visual artists, so they'll probably stand out to you as well, was episode 4, which is making a living through Instagram. And she actually interviews a Melbourne artist called Frances Cannon, who's very well known, she started her career on Instagram and then built it and now is seeking gallery representation. And it's a really good one about selling online and going viral as well. So I'd highly recommend listening to that one. I think it's about an hour, but that's a go-to one for that I think everyone should listen to. And the other episode, which I found really intriguing, was episode 10, which is Artist Integrity is More Important Than Making Money. And I think that's a great title. And the artist his name is Stephen Patone, and he's an Indigenous artist. And he just raises some good points. And he also makes you think about taking on things and the value behind certain opportunities as well. So he does talk a lot about gallery representation, and it's very exciting when you get offered a position somewhere, and but really thinking about does that sort of gallery's core fit in with what you value. And he really makes you think and ask questions about your own practice and also about making money as well. So it's a really good, my mind was blown. And it actually, to be fair, I think maybe we should also say that these podcasts that we've been listening to, the ones that I listen to certainly don't might conflict with Bluethumb. So this is something that I personally want to tell you. It's not something that might reflect on Bluethumb's values, but I still think there's a few lessons to be learned, and it's quite an interesting discussion and thinking. So there's also another podcast on there about a mum who's a magician and she juggles 2 jobs and kids and still a successful artist. So I know there's a lot of mums out there, so that might be a good one for you as well. But yeah, so that's what I kind of had to say about my podcast, and I hope that you listen to it. And if you do, I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, that's over to you.
Just before I go into that, just wanted to say that this is not a promotion of any sort. Like, we are not in touch with them, or they were not in touch. This is not like a collaboration or anything. This is just something that we found useful, and we're sharing it with you guys. So, you know, there's no nothing sort of like official in that sense. Yeah, podcasts are really handy because I walk to work pretty much every day, and and it's really good to sort of listen to these things which are useful and relevant. What I want to talk about is not so much related to art, but is more in terms of digital and internet related. So recently, I've before I go on, the links to the podcast that we're talking about, they're in the description of this video. So if you just scroll down to the video, you should see a couple of links there. There are 2 from Gimlet Media. Then there's a Starving Artist podcast, and then there's a link to another website that I'll just come to on what that's about. So what I want to talk about is just internet security and sort of being a little bit just understanding how things can be a bit safer. I won't sort of go into names, but quite recently, one of the big art platforms had reached out to all the artists and said there's been some security breach, some data breach rather, and you know, if you haven't changed your passwords, please do. If you use the same password in different platforms, please change passwords on there as well. And another platform had some issues in one of their voting systems. So like, there was some meddling in voting. So there was a bit of change. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is just a few points where you can just be a bit safer because you're using different platforms, and not just art platforms, like different websites like LinkedIn and Facebook and other things which might have your financial information and all that kind of stuff. So just keep a couple of points in mind. And these are all covered in those 2 podcast episodes that I've listed that I'll just come to. It's just the most basic thing is do not use the same password in all websites, or even more than one website. It's difficult to remember different unique passwords, but what I would say a workaround is use one master password and then just use variations of it in different websites. So for example, your password is ABCD. You can say something like ABCD $* Bluethumb on Bluethumb, and then or like that is a very obvious example, but use different variations of the same password on different platforms, which makes it easy for you to remember as well. But also they're not the same, because why that's important is, and the way these data breaches work is, once there's a data breach and a bunch of data is out leaked in wrong hands, they have softwares to run through thousands of websites to check which password has been used in which website. And so, for example, if they have your email and one password, they will check 1,000 other websites to see which website has this email and this password. And all those, if some of that are found, then they can be used in different ways. Anyway, the 2 podcasts that I've mentioned, that podcast in general is just about internet stories and all that stuff. But these 2 episodes talk about how one person's Uber account was hacked. And they just discuss all the possible things that could have happened, and the way they investigated is really good. So when you have time and you feel like you want to scare yourself a little bit, go through and listen to those 2 podcasts. It does give you a few pointers on what to do and what not to. It has inspired me a little bit. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. I've also put in the link to a website called Have I Been Pwned? What that does is, if you put in any of your emails in there and search, it will tell you if this email has been, not this email itself has been hacked, but has this email been a part of a data breach on any other websites. So I don't know if you guys would know, but in 2016, there was a bit of a data breach through LinkedIn. There's been data breaches in sites like Zomato, Tumblr, and a few other sites. So when you put in your emails, I put mine in, and it showed me that it was a part of the data breach of LinkedIn, of Zomato, and Tumblr itself. But luckily, I had different passwords in all those websites, so I don't have anything to worry about. But it's good to check. It has nothing to do with art. It's just more about internet security, which speaks to me. So I thought I'll share with you guys. And with passwords as well, there are different ways. There are different ways of using unique passwords. You can use a third-party software like a password. What is it called? Like a password generator, not a password generator, but it's like one password thing which holds all your passwords. So it's online, and when you're on a site, it automatically fills your password in. So none of the actual websites will receive your real password, which is one way to go. But it's all in your hands. And that site, Have I Been Pwned? Have a read on their website, see how that works, because it will give you a lot of questions and a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, and I've been pwned. We found out just now.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
Yeah, it's funny why it's called pwned. It's actually, the word pwned comes from the word owned, but it's been used in internet so much, and because O and P are situated right next to each other on a keyboard, a lot of the times it gets mistyped. So instead of saying owned, it gets typed pwned. So that's why it's called I've Been Pwned. But anyway, it's besides the topic. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's those are the two podcasts that we want to talk about. And if you guys listen to podcasts and you want to share them with us and with the rest other artists, please do so, because it's interesting. And there are so many podcasts out there now that might be interesting that we don't know about and other artists wouldn't know about. And these things are really handy to listen to while you're doing your work, walking, you're painting, whatever. Like this could be a background task, and it's usually quite informative. So yeah, do that. That would be handy. I'll just see if there are any questions. Let me know if you're not able to find the links. I can post that in the comments, but they disappear. But the ones in the description are available, so you can click on that anytime. Lawrence, your question is quite specific. Just reach out on chat, and then we can address that there.
Yeah. I know what's happening though. It's a thing that we'll discuss.
Yeah. What if Melinda's asking, what if I decide to delete my membership with the website I'm no longer using? Does that help? It does, but if it's already been, say for example, a site has already had a data leak, and then you delete your account, it doesn't help because your information is already out there. So just change your local passwords. And the sites that you don't use, it's better to have your account deleted rather than just leaving it there. Sometimes it's annoying and also time consuming. I understand, because I do that as well myself. But it is better to get your accounts deleted from them so they don't have your data. Cool. All right. Listen to those podcasts and let us know if you have any suggestions or feedback. We'd love to know. We'll wait around for a few more questions. But before we finish this, I just wanted to say a couple of things about the way we work on features, the way we work on new updates, operationally. All the features and all the updates and all the everything that you see on Bluethumb that works, when something new is being worked on, that decision is usually, if you see something new today, that means that decision was taken probably about 6 months ago, or even more. 6 months is a pretty snappy time for something big to materialize and be available to everyone to use. These projects are not small for us to work on. They take a lot of time, consideration. Even just the decision making, usually is the biggest part. So when we decide to change something, it's not just, that decision is not just made by a team of 2 or 3 people. It's not made on the same day. That decision itself takes ages as it involves research, reasoning. It's just the team itself grills that question and that decision so much to make sure that it is valuable, it is relevant. And obviously, it takes a huge amount of time for our devs to work on that, to develop a product. Then we test it to make sure it's working the way it's supposed to. Yeah, so it's a huge process. So those decisions are not made on the fly ever. Also, with a platform as big as Bluethumb, which serves so many different users coming from so many different backgrounds, like the common thing among everyone is art itself, but still everyone is different and everyone uses that platform differently. Everyone uses the information provided differently. Everyone uses the tools provided differently. So the way we try to build a product is for it to be useful to most of the users, but a lot of the times it might not be the way you envisaged something or the way you might have visioned something. So we always appreciate feedback, and all feedback is taken on board. Just make sure that it's provided at the right platform. Just make sure that it's sent to us in a written way so we can use it. We can actually consider it. But again, like, you know, it's a huge task for these bigger features to come out. So, and obviously, like we're doing with the My Art page, with these bigger projects, we deliver them in steps so we can put it out, leave it for a while to test it, see how it's performing, see if it's doing the right thing that it was supposed to do, and then sort of come back to it and change it. Anyway, yeah, that's all. Cool. Any other questions?
Yeah. So artist, sorry, don't know your name. I'm assuming you're quite new to Bluethumb. So you want a page for each style to present more paintings of the same style to potential buyers. Yeah, so this is categories or categorizing your own portfolio, and it's coming. We have heard people talk about it, and yeah, it's in development right now. I'm unsure of the timeline at which it will be released, but it's definitely coming on. It's on its way. So
cool. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are finding that Have I Been Pwned site useful. That's good. Karen is asking, are you still selling art supplies? Yes, we are. We'll just post a link to that in the description, but it's simply bluethumbArtSupplies.com. You can go .com. It's not .eu.
It's not.
No. Well, bluethumbArtSupplies.com. You can go there and you can order it. We ship them out once a week. So there's usually a bit of display because everything is being handled by your very own Sarah.
Yes.
And she's late.
Okay. Robin, how can we be excited about new features when the basics like views isn't working right? Sorry if this is disappointing to you. It is. We are working on fixing it, and we have information we've passed on to the devs. All I can say is good things take time. Give the time that we need to do this. But we're working towards a solution, and we are talking about it constantly. So please know that we know that it's frustrating, and we're working hard to fix it.
With the views, I see what you mean. I'm pretty sure with the new artwork page release, they should be fixed. But in saying that, I'm saying that very carefully right now. I can take a look at your particular profile again and see where the numbers are missing. You don't have to send me anything at this point of time. Like I said, this release itself is on a testing basis. So this is a step one. So there will be a round of revision to this. So we can, if there are issues, we can definitely fix it. One more thing I was going to say. One more, yeah. So a few different. So a lot of the way these features are designed, sometimes from your personal point of view, it might not look the best, but trust us when we say that the final product that we've come to, it's come to after a long consideration time, I guess, like a lot of discussion. So these decisions are not made lightly. Where you see something, where the collectors see your views, where the collectors see certain numbers, how they're presented, they are not changed unless there's a reason for it to be changed. And the way the final design layout looks like, it's not, that design is not done by one person without any input or without any research. So a lot of data research, thinking, and learning goes into it. So it might not, from your personal point of view, it might not look the best way to present it, but trust us, from a team of researchers and using the data of thousands and thousands of users and their interaction, this is the best design layout that it is now so far. The more we learn, the more we see, things might change accordingly.
Yeah.
I hope that answers Deborah's question, and I hope that answers part of Robin's question, and a few other artists who had that kind of questions. Cool. I see that we've paused for some reason.
Oh no.
I hope there's no internet issue on our end.
Oh. I'll just check mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have paused.
Okay. I'm not sure if you guys can see us. If you can let us know. I think the broadcast might have been paused.
No, okay. It's not working cool. On our end.
Yeah, it's some reason it's not working. I'll just refresh my page. Yeah, but that's all. That's all from us today. So we'll hang around for a few more minutes, just to answer any questions. But that's all the things that we wanted to talk about today. Cool. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
The next webinar. So with the webinars, we are trying to change the format a little bit, and make them a little bit more useful and a little bit more friendly. I mean, we already talk about all the things that we learn and just share them with you as they are, so you can take that information and do with it, just learn from it and sort of change the way you do things. But we also want to go a bit more in depth about things that might be useful, like we did last week in the last webinar with marketing and social media. So we'll try and keep doing that, and we'll try and bring in more artists as well, like we have done in the past with Ben and Susan. It's just it's just a matter of what information sort of comes up the last minute sometimes, and we want to include that as well because it's important. But yeah, hopefully for the next webinar we'll have something really interesting for you guys. Kali Fogarty is asking, apologies if this has been already explained, I've missed that bit, but are the views of each artwork on my artwork page for a specific time frame each day in view? Or does it change? I'm just going to quickly have a look if you can actually see. On each individual artwork page, are you talking about my artwork page? Okay. In your my artwork page, that is a collective. That should be a collective view. So overall, there's no time constraint on that. So that's a collective views and favorites. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Gillian, it would be very useful to be able to order, sort, and write notes for artworks and artists we follow or like. So if we want to buy, we have our notes to refer to.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. That is a handy suggestion, Gillian. be very useful to be able to order sort like that. One thing that we've recently talked about is being able to create different favorite lists, or like different short lists rather, which there's no option for the collectors to do at this point. So that will be the next step. But this is actually quite interesting way to look at it. So I'll share that with Melissa.
Yeah.
Cool.
It might just be worth mentioning just quickly on the sly. We are having an exhibition here in Melbourne on the 28th, so Thursday the 28th of March. We do have a webinar before then, so I'll mention it then, but it's going to be 2 Bluethumb artists, and I'll give you more details on the next webinar, but just so you're thinking ahead, if you wanted to come and visit on opening night, we would have a few drinks and nibblies available, and but more information to come.
Cool. All right, great. All right, guys. Yeah, that's it for us. That's it from us. This week. But feel free to leave more questions, and we'll check, or email us as usual, and we'll get back to you.
Awesome.
All right. See you guys. While I try and close this.
And it takes forever to stop.
Takes forever for it to stop.